Well, good morning, everybody. Back here on the Bronco, you can see the wagon over here. We're about to start it too. Still trying to finish up a few things on the Bronco, on the motor, so we can move to the body work. Did already patch those holes though. We did that video. That's done. It's ready for Bondo, body filler, whatever you want to call it. If you're from the South, you call it Bondo, I guess. But last time we put the water pump on, we put all the pulleys back on, and we got the alternator on, got it straightened out where it's going to be. We got most of the smog system off now. We don't have all of it off yet. We've got most of it off. Got the air pump and all that junk off. Now it's time to tackle those vacuum lines. You know, we said, or I said, you know, last time I was going to try to get to that, but we just ran out of time. Started taking that carburetor apart. I had initially just planned to get the carburetor off, but ended up actually getting it off and going ahead completely disassembling. I'm glad I did, because that carburetor was, it's really nasty. I've been running it in that little cleaner over the past week. Now, when I run that cleaner, I'm running water and simple green or mean green. It seems to work good for me. Has in the past. I've had to run that carburetor a lot. I was talking to, now obviously, you know, I told you I got this from a friend of mine, the guy I work with, and I was talking to him over the course of the week about the truck, and he's keeping up, you know, what we're doing here too. And I said, you know, how long had it been since the truck had been started up to the time that he had got it, because him and his brother had got it running. I mean, not running and driving, just kind of running and idling. And he said it had to sit 17 years to his knowledge without being started. Given that information and taking into account what that carburetor looked like on the inside, I said, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I need to pull the gas tank. So I ordered a gas tank and a new sending unit. It's not here yet. It's on the way. So, however, we could go ahead and start pulling that tank and have it out and have it ready to go. So when the new one gets here. As far as the brake situation on the truck, the brakes, I've not looked at them yet. I know that he had put a new master cylinder on, and he said it wasn't getting fluid to the rear, which could mean a couple things to me. You know, a line could be stopped up. The proportion valve could have slid a block. I don't know much about that block sliding, I'll go ahead and tell you, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but people have told me that you'll slide these distribution blocks, and they're set up that way to completely stop the fluid to the rear, or I guess it could be the front, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a little more research on that, and I really want to just start from scratch with those brakes too. So we have that, and we have to reassemble the carburetor. We have to finish pulling those vacuum lines, and we have to put the carburetor on. I did get some more parts. I got a new blue streak distributor cap, rotary button. I got some new auto light plugs. I've got some good Shell Rotella oil. I don't have the filter yet, but we're moving on. I didn't assume this to be a long project anyway, and I hope it don't turn into that. So we just got to get through this last little bit, what I just stated, and then obviously, you know, getting the brakes working, get the new gas tank. And one thing that I didn't know that I learned this week is this truck's got a 33-gallon gas tank in it. That's a humongous gallon gas tank. It's huge. 33 gallons. Golly, that's a big tank. I looked up under there, and apparently Ford offered a 23 gallon and a 33 gallon. This one has the 33. So that's just a big tank. That's the size of Tank's fuel tank. And I was like, wow, 33 gallons, that's huge. But let's go over here and I'll show you the progress with the carburetor. And as you can see, it is cold outside. I prefer to work in cold weather. Just for me, it's easier to get warm than it is to stay cool, I guess. Probably in the morning, which will be Sunday morning, I'm probably gonna start up the old wood stove for the first time this year. I've got my little propane heater over here going now, and it does a pretty good job. And it's not terribly cold in here. It's probably like 29 outside and probably 40 in here, I guess. So it's a 20 degree. At 40, I'm fine with that. Oh, back to it. Let's look at this carburetor anyway. Here we go. So here's the carburetor. And you can see the cleaner, this little supersonic cleaner. It's doing a good job. I've run this thing several times. And you can see inside there, it's really cleaning the float bowl up good. And you can see how good the float bowl's actually moving around in there. It needs a final cleaning. Here's a jet plate. And if I can get the focus good. So this jet plate, I've got new jets, stuff like that, but we're gonna have to clean this housing up and pull all that out. Let's look at this float bowl here. This float bowl looks just as good as the other one. We're gonna have to go in there and do a little bit of a fine cleaning. But for the most part, the cleaner's doing its job. Now, these cleaners don't do it all. They give you a good place to really start from. You can look here at the Venturis. We're going to need to go in and really polish those Venturis up. So there's a little bit of work right there. I'm going to show you the rest of the carburetor down here. The base plate looks pretty good. It done a really good job on it. We're gonna have to clean our butterflies up really good, and this linkage and stuff like that. And here's all the screws and bolts. They're pretty cruddy. I'll run them through a wire wheel and clean all them up. And here's the choke. I don't know if the choke works. And then here's this thing. That's a vacuum plunger. Well, let's talk a little bit about that for a minute. That plunger, what it does, and I just learned this, so this plunger is vacuum controlled. Imagine that, good Ford vacuum. And apparently what this does is, let's say you're driving down the road and it's hot outside and you've got your AC on. Pull up to the red light. When you pull up to the red light and stop, the vacuum pushes that plunger into the throttle plate, increasing RPM to 800 RPM. And that's Ford spec. That's not something I came up with. It's 800 RPM. And that just keeps, while the truck is sitting there idling at a light with the AC on, that's designed to keep the motor from bogging down, essentially. So I just learned that. It's called a kick down throttle. I've heard of kick down throttle before, but I didn't realize Ford done it that way with a vacuum and what it was there for. So I learned that this week. Well, let's take a look here at what we've got so far done under the hood of this truck. We've done a lot of painting up under here. Voice of Knowledge does not like my blue pulley. That's fine. He wanted me to paint it black, but I painted it blue. It kind of stands out. Of course, when we put everything back in here, fan and all that, it'll hide it. So, but I mean, I like it. That's all that matters. Here's all these, yeah, spaghetti everywhere. So we're gonna have to get that, figure out something there. I watched a real good video online over the last couple of days of a guy actually tackling this problem. He didn't show taking the lines off or anything like that, but what he did show was what he kept, and that's what's important, is what he actually kept on here for the truck to run right. So very helpful video. I'll try to link to that below, so if anybody else is working on one of these older Ford trucks and they want to get rid of all that BS, that's a really good video. I also found a really good video on rebuilding that carburetor. From disassembly to reassembly to going on the car to actually setting it up. And that guy done a phenomenal job. It's like a 3-part video, and I'll try to link to that below also. So anybody out there that's doing one of these, those are some helpful videos. They helped me. I've been watching them all week. So on tap for today, I've got a little bit of time. We're flying solo today. There'll be no Bubba today, no Axel. Everybody's doing other things, and I'm kind of left here, and that's fine. But I'll be here enjoying at least a half a day today, fooling with this and talking with you guys about it. A little cold, but it'll warm up here. It's supposed to warm up pretty good here after a while. So, but yeah, enough of me gabbing. Let's get to it. Let's see if we can. I guess we'll start with those vacuum lines and see what's up there and see if we can get those out of the way. So come along and see what we're doing here. And if anybody out there has done one of these and you have any advice for me, go ahead and drop it in the comments, because I need all the help I can get. We can all learn something, right? All right, so let's jump on it and see what we can get done. All right, I removed the carburetor gasket and little metal plate there, and now you can get back in here and see that EGR. I'm gonna pull it off and trace it out on some 1/4-inch steel, and we'll go ahead and get rid of it. These lines right here and right there, they go to the carburetor bowls. They go down in here to these boxes, so we can eliminate that. Now once we eliminate that, that should be able to allow us to eliminate vacuum here and here. Some of these trucks have like a vacuum solenoid control over here, something of that nature. This one don't have it, so we don't have to worry about that. We just got to make sure that whatever vacuums here we pull, we plug. We don't want any leaks. And these vacuum lines, they're brittle. They're old and they're hard. Wouldn't take a whole lot to get them cracking and going on, I don't think so. But like I said, those lines go here from the carburetor bowls. That'll allow us to eliminate this. We can eliminate this bracket here, these vacuum lines here, and hopefully once this that goes to the carburetor bowl and that one back there come off, that'll eliminate and clean all this up. And that EGR back there, we're gonna start with it and get it pulled off of there and get it plated off, especially right now when there's nothing back there in my way. I'll probably go ahead and pull these first and get them out of the way and then pull that. But once I get that out of there, then I'll kind of just show you the process of it's just simple. I'm gonna lay it down on some 1/4-inch steel, trace it out, cut it out with my angle grinder, and put a flapper attack disc on it and smooth it down. I actually need to make 2 of them. I need to make one for this truck, and I need to make one for our buddy Marv for one of his Ford trucks that he's working on. So We'll start right there. It's a good place to start. Well, we're making a little bit of progress. I've got most of them vacuum lines pulled out, and this right here is what I was able to jerk out of there. Crazy boxes. All this mess right here, it goes to the float bowl, all this vacuum line stuff. And as you can see, she's really starting to clean up under here now. What I'm going to do, these right here are all cap, both of these. We have our main vacuum coming off of our intake there at the carburetor spacer plate. We're going to utilize that. And what I'm going to do, see, the only reason that I really done this was these lines are brittle. They're breaking. They got holes in them. It's just old, you know. But we don't need all that stuff, so we're going to get rid of it. Engine should run better with all that crap off of it, and with all, well, especially with all the vacuum leaks plugged up. It should run better. And what I plan to do from here is, you might say, oh no, you pulled all that stuff off. Yeah, I think the same thing. But what I plan to do is, I was going to try to take it off a little bit at a time, right? Reasonable. And say, okay, this goes here, let me cap that. But then the stuff just started breaking off. And I mean, every time you touch it, it's old. It's brittle, dry rotted, it's just breaking. So I just took it all off, and we'll just start from scratch. I've got that one video on my phone I can watch and just see what I need to run the truck, and we'll start there. And as we get the truck running, if we need vacuum somewhere else, we can always tie into one of those lines. So now, after getting all that garbage off, and all the smog pump garbage off, and all that junk out of the way, now it's time to tackle that EGR. Which, I mean, I say tackle, it's only 2 bolts. I'm gonna pull it off. There's probably a little nipple on the bottom of it. I'm gonna grind that off with a cutoff wheel so it's flat, and then I can make my plates. So that'll be our next line of action right there, will be to take that off and get it out and get it plated. Oh, I found that vacuum solenoid that I was speaking of just a little bit earlier. On this one's a little different. It's over here. It's this thing right here. And no, I don't know what that does, but we'll find out. And you know, that's kind of the pleasure you get, you know, things you don't know here. You start finding them out, talking to people and finding out and learning. That's what it's all about, is learning. I've not ever had one of these Broncos, or even, I've not even had an OBS F-150 before. The oldest one I've ever owned was a 99, and it was a great truck. Obviously I didn't do anything like this to it. It was my daily years ago. It was a good truck. Now, I always wanted one of these, and so we're going to learn all about it. We've got a book, we've got a couple of friends that know all about these trucks, and there's any number of videos you want to watch out there on this stuff. Now, I will say this, finding some of the vacuum routing and stuff can be time consuming to find those videos. So, you know, that's one reason I'm doing this video, is I've got rid of all that stuff, and as I go back, I'm gonna clean everything up, and probably won't be this weekend, maybe next, we'll actually start putting all the vacuum back on, and I'll show what I run there, so you'll have an idea of what I'm running, and then of course I'll see if it works or not. So if it does, you know, hopefully this will get out to somebody doing the same thing, and it'll help them, because once all them lines start dry cracking and breaking off, the truck will just absolutely run like trash. These things, don't matter whether it's Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge, they do not like to run and operate properly with vacuum leaks. So if you've got an old one like this, whether it's your daily or it's just something you're fixing up for fun, those vacuum lines can create havoc under that hood and the way these things run. And there's not really any clear cut, you need this, you need that to make it run right. And I hope that's what we're doing here now, is we're going to have a clear-cut version of what you need to make the thing run good and really good. So let's jump on that EGR now and see if we can't get it off. It's a couple bolts. Hopefully it don't turn into a big issue. EGR came off pretty easy. A couple bolts, 1 9/16 and 1/2. Now, right here. This is that little nipple. Right here. I'm gonna cut that off, die grinder, and we'll just fix it right here to the plate, cut it out. We'll drill out our holes. Shouldn't be a big deal. Nah, I don't know. This EGR, just looking at the outside of it, don't look terrible. The inside of it's not even really that cruddy. You can check these things. This one here's, I believe this one probably, I don't feel any, it moves the diaphragm and it moves and all that, so it probably still works. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't still work, but it's got to go. We don't need it, and I don't want to waste time trying to put all of that spaghetti crap back in there and make a big mess. So we'll get rid of it. I'll go ahead and cut that block off plate. Now, one thing you do need to know about this when doing something like that with an EGR, you have to put that gasket. Now, I'm gonna reuse the old gasket. I didn't see any reason why I couldn't, but you know, if you get one and the gasket tears or whatever coming off, you can always just get a roll of gasket paper and make a gasket. I keep some over here in the old toolbox here. Now, of course, oh, it's catching the bottom of that door right here. Gasket material, probably good to have on hand all the time, and a good drawer full of specialty junk. So, enough gabbing. Let's cut that nipple off of there, and let's make 2 times 2 EGR plates. One for me and one for Mr. Marv. I figured I'd show you what I was working with here. You know, I had said I was going to do 1/4 inch, but I got to looking at it and I thought, well, it's probably a little overkill. And I had this 1/8 inch block of steel. It's just some junk I picked up somewhere years ago, I kept. And it's about, you know, about 1/8 inch thick, I guess, and that should be sufficient. Now, here's the first one. I've got some etching primer on it so it don't, you know, rust up after cleaning it. I mean, it's just a basic little or nothing plate, you know, just cut it out, shaped it with a flapper. That one's going to be mine. Now I'll show you the one that I've got to shape out and drill for Marv. So you can kind of see what it looks like just cut out. And this right here is what we got. And you can see I left all my lines, and that will take care of those lines and all this shaping. You can see it's just some, you know, just some old metal. Like I said before, I don't typically throw metal away, so not too big a deal. Not very time consuming. Just, you know, gotta have something that covers it. Don't gotta be perfect. It's not really gonna be seen. Back there in the very back, be painted black to match the intake, or, you know, whatever. Now, I mean, if you were, you know, really dressing out an engine anyway, you wouldn't be doing it, well, typically with it in the car. Like with my Cadillac, we had that motor out. And if you buy, you know, if you've got a motor out, you're doing that. Either you're really making it look good, or you're building a performance engine. You're gonna go aluminum intake like I did. You know, those problems. And if you do, you buy billet plates. I mean, this is what you do. But like for this, our goal, you know, is just to make it look presentable when you open the hood. And that, I mean, this is going to be a driver, maybe even, you know, really close to a daily driving vehicle. So it's just going to be a really nice truck, and I want to be able to open the hood and it just be presentable, not decked out in chrome and everything shiny or polished aluminum. Just simple, clean, all business motor here. Just you know, clean. And when I'm doing maintenance on it myself, I prefer something to be clean rather than be just covered in grease and filth. And since we're having to do away with all this small pump and rebuild the carburetor and all that, it's just a perfect time to go ahead and get all this the way you want it. This is an older truck, so I know I'll take it to some car shows, some cruises. This truck is well capable of pulling my trailer and putting one of my other cars on if I wanted to. So I really want everything to be, you know, really good shape, really, you know, tight and clean. And I want to be able to open the hood on this and it looked like I've actually, you know, done a little work under here, you know, as far as, you know, taking my time and cleaning everything up and making it look presentable. And I'm just funny like that. I want everything to be, you know, tight and clean. And I don't want a whole lot of extra baggage, if you will. Like that. So, with that being said, I'm gonna finish up this other plate for Marv, and then I'm gonna put the plate on this one and get it wrapped up, and then probably start to clean up that intake a little bit. I'm currently running out of time here. I'm not moving very fast, and you know, it's just kind of taking it easy and enjoying myself fooling with this stuff today. I've actually got the temperature in here up to about 50 degrees, so that's really comfortable for me. Maybe not a lot of people, but as you can see, the old thermometer there is reading close to 50. Now tomorrow it's going to be raining, and tomorrow I'm going to start up the wood stove, so should be able to get, you know, 70 in here easy. Actually, that'd be a little warm for my taste, but you know, I know Bubba, he stays cold. So yeah, that's where we're at. But let me go ahead and finish this, and then we'll put that plate on there and it'll be dry, and we can start to clean out the intake and clean up around those valve covers. And I'm actually starting now to think that it might not be a bad idea to pull those valve covers and take a look at the top of the heads and see what we're dealing with there. I assume not to find anything. Should, you know, 84,000 mile truck, and I know where it come from. So, you know, still probably need to take a peek while, you know, we're this close to it. We'll see. All right, let me finish this, put that on, and we'll take it from there. All right, I got the spacer plate off of the intake just so you could get a better shot of this EGR plate. And after cutting it out, that's basically what you end up with. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It don't need to be anything special. It just needs to be, you know, needs to be on there, needs to be sealed. Never see it. I'm gonna paint it black, and probably the rim of this black. I'm cleaning up this spacer plate now. I want to show you the insides of this. Yeah, we want to get that looking more like that. And how I'm going to accomplish that, trusty drill, just a small wire wheel. I'll lock it up in the vise and clean those out, and that'll be one more task done. But the intake is starting to really clean up now. It looks it's starting to really look good. I blowed out a lot of the stuff, and you can see that I've got my paper towels in there to keep any junk from getting down in there. But The intake's starting to really shape up now, and we're getting close to where we can actually start cleaning it and shoot a little coat of paint on it and make it look better. So let's finish up this, and I'll show you that throttle spacer plate when I'm done. Alright, I got that spacer plate cleaned up. I actually sprayed a little paint on the sides of it. You don't want to paint the top or bottom to get the gasket, but I did paint the sides so it would look nice. Now I'm on to the carburetor, and right here is my carburetor. You have to look over my messy workbench. This is the new kit. I've got it covered so no debris blows in. There's my tools, what I'm going to use, and got some O'Reilly carb cleaner. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all these gaskets and clean this up so it looks, you know, so it's slick when I reseal it. Well, I'll take all these pieces like this out. I'm going to take the float bowl drains out, and look right here in these Venturis. I'm going to clean all that up. I'm going to clean these up, carb cleaner. I'm going to use this handy little soft wheel on my Dremel to get in those small spots. And basically, like, I'm going to pull the jets out of here and clean all this debris out of here, this from sitting old gas. And then, like all these holes, we're gonna make sure that, you know, they're all clean. I gotta pull that gasket off the back of that. And basically, anywhere where there's a hole, like in here, you can see down in there, I'm gonna stick my straw and I'm gonna blow carburetor cleaner through it. Make sure we have carburetor cleaner going in a hole and coming out another hole. That's what we're looking for. With a whole bunch of holes right there. I don't know what all them holes do, but we're going to see which ones are actually holes, screw holes, and which ones are actually ports and passages. If you spray carburetor cleaner in this or this, obviously you want it to come out in here. We need to put a little lube on these springs and all this hardware and get it all cleaned off and get it moving freely again and good. And then we'll wire wheel all our screws and bolts. We'll clean our butterflies off real nice. This is going to take a minute. This is not a fast job. There's a lot of moving parts right there, and you want to make sure that you take your time and do a thorough job with that, because you don't want to hurry through it and then put it back together and it not work. So we're going to take our time with this, and that'll pretty much wrap it up for me today. I'm running out of time now. I got some things to do this afternoon, but we got a lot accomplished this morning. About a half a day, I guess. It's about 11:30 now. We got all that vacuum crap off and the little tanks, the charcoal canisters or what you might call them, I'm not real sure. Got all that crap off. We really got that intake cleaned off now and looking pretty good. We've got most of our smog system gone, deleted now. I still want to pull this bar right here off, get it out of the way. We don't need it. And I need to plug a few things, and then I've got to go pick up some vacuum line tonight. Here's our spacer plate. We got our plate made for our EGR and got it on there. And as you can see, I taped it off and just painted the sides of it. I didn't want to clean it off and then put it on there and it rust. So I painted the sides, and that's done. And yeah, it don't seem like a lot got done, but a lot got done, I guess. But if I can finish up cleaning this carburetor, be ready to put it back together, I'm pretty happy with that. I'll be out here tomorrow. I got all day tomorrow, so tomorrow being Sunday and it's going to rain all day, may try to get a hold of Bubba and get him over here, help me out with this thing. See if we can't paint some valve covers, paint an intake, put some of this stuff back together and get it really looking good tomorrow. Maybe cap rotary button, maybe start pulling that tank out. I don't know. That's a tall list. That's a tall list right there. Please like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing, want to see more of it. Helps us a lot. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate all the support. And till next time, or tomorrow morning, I'll catch y'all later.